All right, welcome back, Mr. Milrad. Influencers. Sometimes they come in a second, not even knowingly. Sometimes they last a lifetime. I have a feeling I know a couple of people you might say that are influencers that we
Yeah.
touched upon, but they really are important, and it's something that I always think we should always be recognizing, because one way or another we're also influencing people, maybe without knowing it. So it's really our choice: are we going to do it positively or negatively to do it?
Mhm.
And something to think about. So can you share with us maybe two or three people that have been influencers in your life?
Yeah, sure. I mean, certainly my mom, who I talked a bit about, she's a, single mom. She worked as a secretary for many years. She was a teacher. She's just one of those folks who, she says, her proudest accomplishments are raising her two kids. She's one of those folks who just is incredibly intelligent, compassionate, kind, brave. I think of many women of her generation. She was one of the women in this, 20 something year olds in the 60s who was out protesting and marching for women's rights and civil rights and all the rest, and still is fighting for all those issues, and now 80 years old. So she's definitely an inspiration for me. My dad, I didn't talk much about earlier, but he was a New Yorker through and through. Was in his 50s when he had me. I was kind of the last of his few kids he had. He had a previous marriage, and so I got to see him. Unfortunately, he's passed away, but he was. I got to see him kind of in his later years. He was courageous guy in his own right. He would speak out on things. He would write letters to. He wrote a letter to Bill Clinton one time because he didn't like his interview on CNN. I was like giving him tips. I was like, hey, you should think about doing it this way or that way. So he's kind of a Jewish New Yorker through and through. Very funny, very sardonic, but also just, brave. Like, he would just speak his mind, always supported what I did, always told me to, strive more. And when I worked for President Obama, he's like, just, call him up, ask him for a job, ask him to work. And it's just like, that's not how it works, Dad, but he was that kind of guy. So my dad definitely. And I would just lastly mention, I think certainly people along the lines of the Barack Obama. I think the Obama campaign was certainly a kind of a lynch point moment for me in my life. And I think a lot of people of my generation who are, 20, 21, 22, 23, when he's ran for president. And just that the not like who he is and was at the time, but I think also the community around that campaign, of just really great people who were servant leaders through and through, and taught me everything I need to know about what it means to be, a good citizen and to give back to the country.
Well, I think I won't let you go without mentioning the professor.
Yeah, you're right. My English, well, my English teacher certainly eighth grade was one. And he's Kevin Holloway was, and still is, a mentor to me. He later earned his PhD and, kind of became a principal and went on to great heights in his own career. But yeah, having those teachers when you're especially middle school, high school, I think, it just takes one to really believe in you. And he was that guy for me. Yeah.
I had Mr. Hersey in grade 7, and he was recognized as the strictest, most favorite teacher of all.
Wow.
And he really cared, and he apparently had money, but that's not why he was there. And wow. So I can relate to that. And they make a big difference. You ever see the movie Mr. Holland's Opus?
I have. Yeah, I love it. Exactly. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Teachers out there, we should pay them more and treat them way better than they're treated.
I'm a big fan of that. We should definitely pay them more. So, hey, thanks for sharing all that.
Thank you, Mark.